What's up guys, Joey here,
And Miguel,
and it's time for another
ask YugaTech.
So you know how this thing goes. Make sure to follow our Facebook page and watch out for the hashtag AskYuga post so you can ask us anything you want. Now our first question.
Comes from Isaac Tabafunda. Is it still necessary to buy a pocket Wi-Fi when I can just hotspot using my dual SIM phone? Well,
You're taking it?
yeah.
Okay.
So actually, it isn't necessary, but in terms of power consumption, you're screwed. Especially if you have a battery capacity of like 3,800 milliamp hours and
Less than
below.
4,000.
And if you want to learn more, we actually did come up with an article regarding just this last Monday. So link for that in the description box.
Yeah, so basically you can do it with your phone, but right now I guess the purpose of your pocket Wi-Fi is to offload the power consumption from your phone onto a separate dedicated device with its own big battery. Pocket
Yeah.
Wi-Fi's have big batteries nowadays. Some of them, I've rented one in Japan that was also a power bank. So yeah, there you go.
Not to mention, if you just use your mobile hotspot, you might be limited to the number of devices that can connect to your mobile hotspot as compared to the pocket Wi-Fi.
That's true.
So yeah.
Next question comes from Kian Nolasco. This guy asks a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
For you, what do you think is the best skin based on Android 9 Pie in terms of extra features and etc.? Color OS, FunTouch, MIUI, EMUI, One UI, Zen UI. So, myself, I don't have much of a say. Got the Pixel, stock Android, but I think I can answer for both of us. He uses an S10.
Mm-hmm.
I like One UI. He
I
likes
do.
One UI.
Yep.
So, tell Kian more about One UI. Why you think it's the best?
Well, I've always hated TouchWiz and Samsung Experience, but the moment Samsung introduced One UI, I was shook. Like, this is like the best Android skin for me, especially coming from an HTC device, and I really liked Sense because it was very close to stock, if not stock. It wasn't stock,
It wasn't stock.
but like
Close.
So I really do love picture-in-picture mode, which you do get with Android Pie, but Samsung's had that ever since before Pie, and I think I was like totally hating because I was on the other side of the fence with Samsung. I hated Samsung phones just because of like the skin they had. Now that One UI is here, everything's clean, everything's minimal. I do use picture-in-picture mode a lot on Samsung devices. It's called the pop-up menu thing. And on other phones except the Pixel phones, or if you are registered to YouTube Red, you cannot use that pop-up or picture-in-picture mode at all. So
Oh yeah.
So you can do that on Samsung One UI devices and all Samsung devices, and that's like the bomb.
Yeah,
That's,
and you get a really nice night mode.
yeah. Ta-da! This is stock. This is what it looks like. And then you turn on night mode, which I've turned on and left on.
I also
forever.
like you can swipe from the middle of the screen to bring down the notifications or bring up your apps.
Yep.
Or you can also swipe down.
Yep. That's also a setting. Like when we first tackled One UI, I could not do that, but I found that when I did get my own S10, and I've loved it ever since because I was able to do that in my old HTC phone. And it's weird if you lose some functionality moving on from an old phone to a new phone.
Yeah. So out of all the skins Kian mentioned, they all have pretty good extra features, especially EMUI and Color OS has good extra features. But for us, it's gonna be One UI. But stay tuned. We're planning to do a comparison between all the different Android skins so you guys can decide which one you like the best without having to go through the store and trying it out yourself.
Yep. So
Stay
wait for
tuned.
that. Next question. This one is from Marvin Martinez. When will you start a phone review, Android or iOS, that was launched 5 years ago? Review on how the phone performs after 5 years. Thanks.
We're gonna do that soon. I'm actually curious to see how far mid-range phones in 2018 and 2019 have come. Because if a mid-range phone from 2018 or 2019 can even outmatch like a flagship from 5 years ago, 4 years ago, then that's a pretty good picture of how far smartphone tech has come and trickled down. That should be interesting. We'll do it soon. All right, next is from Ryoichi Nuestro. When will Android Q be developed and its name? I think it's still on beta and testing. Yeah, so Android Q is already on beta. I have it on my Pixel. So if you have a Pixel 2, Pixel 3, or the XL versions, you can download it and test it. I don't know what the name will be.
Quesadilla?
Quesadilla, but
No, it has to be a sweet, right?
my closest guess is quiche.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Quiche. Quiche.
Quiche.
Next question from Emmanuel Pader. In the US, internet is now a form of utility just as electricity and water. How about developing countries like the Philippines? Do you consider internet as a utility or a luxury, in your own opinion?
Now, in the Philippines, it's a luxury and a privilege to have internet access. But in the future, as the times move forward, as our grasp of technology as a nation moves forward, eventually it'll become a utility and a right. So I think the UN declares internet access as a right.
Yeah.
Fact check that. Next question comes from Archie.
What is the video editor used by Hollywood films like Marvel or...
Finally, a film question.
Because we're film students!
Okay, so we're sure that the first Avengers was edited on Avid Media Composer. Hollywood films, feature films tend to use Avid for editing, so we can probably safely assume that most, if not all, of the Marvel films were edited on Avid. But I know of one exception in particular. I know Deadpool was edited on Adobe Premiere Pro,
Yep.
which is the program we use. So it's kind of cool to know that the software we use and a lot of other creators use was actually used on a Hollywood film.
Yep.
So yeah, from Michael Joseph Cornell, RTX laptop worth it in 2019? And what are the benefits of those compared to GTX series? Yeah, you got this.
The ray tracing?
Yeah, so obviously with RTX graphics cards on your laptop, your main benefit is the ray tracing and DLSS that comes with some games. Compared to GTX laptops, that's basically it.
Yep.
Yeah, and recently NVIDIA released a driver update for GTX. I think desktop-only cards that makes them support ray tracing. So why do we need RTX in the first place? I don't know. I don't know if that's coming to laptops also, or if the 1080 Max Q is powerful enough for that, or the 1070 Max Q is powerful enough for that. But if you're buying a laptop from before RTX, like a top-of-the-line, with the 1080 and
Or the 1070 or 80 Max Qs.
yeah, those are still gonna be pretty good for even the future AAA games. So unless you're really banking on ray tracing, I wouldn't 100% recommend getting an RTX laptop.
Unless can certain designers make use of the RTX cards?
I mean, there's an RTX Minecraft mod.
So this next question is from Romel Flores. Despite the low score of gaming reviewers for the much hyped PS4 exclusive game Days Gone, do you still believe that the game is still good and worth it to pick up? When Days Gone... So ever since Days Gone was announced, I was so hyped. Like the gameplay of all those multitude of NPC...
the Horde.
The Horde, exactly. Has there been another game that's shown that kind of I guess Left 4 Dead? But this was in third person, so it was just totally different, It was probably like a GTA 5 mod on steroids. I don't know. It probably isn't, because it isn't, okay? But those things aren't even zombies, because maybe the developers thought, oh, zombies are such a saturated genre, let's not call them zombies. But basically, they're zombies. And stuff like that, they get to me, man. They get to me, they're messing with the narrative. They aren't really messing with the narrative, but it's messing with my head. And when it finally came out, what we did see of the demo, it was another case of that. The demo looked way better compared to the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
And I've heard it can get really repetitive and boring. So, what differentiates this Days Gone from anything else that's, well, aside from the multitude of hordes and stuff? But then if it was up to me, you'd just be buying that game for that horde gameplay.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's not story driven like something like The Last of Us.
It's not story driven enough.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Last question is from Ralph Rap David. Which is better, optical or ultrasonic in terms of speed and accuracy? So I think he's referring to under display fingerprint scanners.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's another question for you, my friend, because you
Okay.
you have an S10.
Okay, so honestly, on this S10, I do feel like maybe I'm biased. I'm not sure if I'm being biased, but do feel like they're about the same speed. Maybe like milliseconds in difference. But like when like the P30 came to the office, like and I tested out the optical in display fingerprint scanner, I honestly felt like it was faster than my phone. And
Yeah, it was.
What?
It was.
I told you it was faster, and you were like, no, it just feels faster. It might be the animation. But
The Pro.
it's faster.
The Pro is faster.
Also because that's a Gen 2 optical sensor
Yeah.
as compared to a Gen 1 ultrasonic one. Although in terms of safety, this one's your best bet, but
How about with wet fingers?
with wet fingers, it is easier to read on the ultrasonic as compared to the optical.
It's just impossible in the optical, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, it does feel faster. I do feel like also if I take off the screen protector that came on this phone out of the box,
It would be
I've-
faster.
yeah, I've heard from other like reviewers that it is faster, but I'm kind of like not sure if I want to do it because like I might scratch the screen even though it is Gorilla Glass, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, speed, optical,
Security,
security, and
wet-
accessibility for wet fingers.
ultrasonic.
Alright, so that's it for this episode of Ask YugaTech. I hope we answered your questions effectively enough. If you have any more questions, again, follow our Facebook page and stay tuned for the hashtag AskYuga post. So you can ask us there, or you can leave a comment in this video down below or in any episode of Ask YugaTech.
And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of our future uploads.
Be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. This has been Joey.
And Miguel of YugaTech
We'll see you
in the next one.
in the
Bye-bye.
next one. In the next one.
And the next one.
In the next one.
And the next one.
In the next one.
And the next one.
The next one.
And the next one.
The next one.
And the next one.